everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm trying to do videos, but when I start talking about the corruption, I get upset. Because I have to live with it. Um, I've been assaulted a number of times this year, and Detective Bransetter refuses to investigate anything. They refuse to help with evidence. The one piece of evidence they did get from the restaurant got altered. It's almost like they redid it, and I don't have the clothes that that person they claim to be me is wearing. I know exactly what I wore that day. But my head is me, and they redid it with the person who stalked and assaulted me. So fast forward, I got hit walking across the street, and a business caught the video. Sergeant Skyver said that, he was going to tell Detective Lou to go get it because Detective Lou said he was going to go get it and he never did. They just avoid you. Finally, front desk Officer Habib told me, oh, well, Bransetter's not investigating. And that there's no mention of getting a video, or if they have the video, they just completely protect the crimes, the criminality of Scientology, gang stalking, which they call fair game, which means it's policy, it's cult policy, that if you piss someone off or you don't want to be a part of that cult, they send their members to wait outside your house. And the first person who started doing this to me was Patty Babber, Pattybaber. And she's on YouTube doing that to other people. That's who started doing it to me. Her and two guys. And there was like a private detective, because he was with them when I lived on Palms. In Palms. On Overland and Palms. I got scared and I moved to El Segundo, and that private investigator was sitting outside my house in his car across the street, just staring at my house. Anyways, I've been through so much hell with these people. So long story short, this attack on July 1st when I'm crossing the street, that was a payback from Scientology, because they don't want me taking pictures of them. So because I had my phone in my hand when I was crossing the street, I was going to Trader Joe's, they had one of their members just come up and attack me. I'd never seen that person before. But they have different people taking part in the fair game policy, which again means to lie, to steal, to cheat, to ruin the life of the target, even if that means, well, at all costs, including death. That's policy. If you don't believe me, look up Leah Remini. She talks about it. And that's why they've been beating the hell out of me. And I'm so upset because Officer Habib won't even take a police report on stalking when I have people outside my house admitting they're doing fair game. And he told me Bransetter isn't even going to investigate anything. And they did the same thing to me when one of their members jumped on my car when I was working delivering groceries back in January. They jumped on my car. I was parked, about to get out of my car to pick up some groceries at the grocery store to deliver. And this woman was harassing me when I got into the parking lot. They had been chasing me and following me all through the day. They do that to me when I work. They do that to me when I'm out and about. And the cops, you call the cops won't do nothing. Or they'll try to project that you're crazy because they cover up these crimes for these domestic terrorists. And it's all about money. So when they jumped on my car, she lied and said I tried to run her over. It took them a month and a half for them to get that video and to get her medical records. And that whole time they were trying to put me in prison. And during my last court hearing, the cops that came out and took the reports didn't even show up to court. And I was forced to plead to a felony, to be released. And I was told I had to do that by my appointed lawyer. I had been in jail for a month and a half, justifiably. I was about to, like, a day away from losing my apartment. And everything I had, they already towed my car away. So I'm upset because I have to live with getting stalked every day. They did something to my car. They got into my car where my blinker is. There's like damage there already. But whatever they decided to do to get into my car, they couldn't put it back. Whatever they got into was the front of my car. They dismantled the front of my car. They couldn't put it back together right. So they got like a nut, a screw, and they drilled it into the side of my car. I'll show you guys. I'll do a separate video. I was actually going to do a video on, I believe it's John Roberts. But when I think about the side of corruption that he's siding on, I couldn't even talk about that yet because I've been through so much hell this week. Now these monsters have to put their hands on my possessions. You know, when they've been in my apartment, they try to ruin my clothes. They try to take one earring, even though like I have stuff I've never worn or stuff with tags. They'll come in here and like try to like take out the threads, so the threads, you know, out of the seams. They'll put like holes in my crotches, like, yeah, there's tights I'm wearing right now that they'll just make holes. And anyways, it makes me sick thinking about it. So the reason I'm saying this is because they were gonna put me in prison. They were trying to put me in prison. They would not allow the evidence of the video and the medical records of the woman who was lying. I was forced to plead to a felony to get out. I have no restitution because I never hit anybody. She lied. They let me plea out, but they forced me to plead to a felony to get out that day. I had to get out that day because I already lost my car, lost my job. I was about to lose my apartment and everything I love in my apartment. That means a lot to me. You know, so when they mess with my car, they vandalized it, but it's old, I don't care. But when they try to dismantle it and they can't put it back correctly, so they screw like a bolt nut into the side of my car to keep things intact. And the cops won't take a report for shit. The only reason they took a report last time is because either someone else called because they were witnesses, or when I did call, they took them an hour and a half to get their asses out here. And of course they were rude to me. You know, when the officers come out, they're rude. When you don't have the ability to afford a lawyer because your money, you don't have access to your money, and you don't even have that much money to begin with, and you're forced to sit and rot in jail for something you didn't do, and they refuse to bring in the evidence because they're protecting these monsters. And on a daily basis, you're faced with going to prison. You don't have access to your money. That car was GPS'd. They GPS'd my car. They violate human civil rights up and down, this cult. But anyways, I'm trying to give you guys an idea. That's not even all the hell I've been through. I've been through so much. So when I have Bransetter, or I get ridiculed by the cops at the front desk, and I have to sit there and yell at them on the phone because they won't take a police report, and they sit there and they laugh at me. And then I find out Detective Bransetter, despite me getting assaulted, despite them breaking into my window when I'm asleep, despite them, I keep telling them what's going on, and she won't even investigate. They don't investigate. This is exactly why Jackie Lacey is no longer has her position as DA, because she prosecuted one of Scientology's, because she was getting pressured, and so she did it, and so they sicked Black Lives Matter on her, and they got her out. Soros raised money to get her out. Soros, Scientology, you guys, they're all one thing. CCP. So yeah, Bransetter, she don't do shit. They know my car's GPS. They know I get chased. They know I get followed. Because when I was on crutches and this happens, they would have the cops come and patrol to make sure all the little gang stalkers were safe. You know, drive up and down the street, make sure the gang stalkers were safe. Or if I called them to tell them what's going on, they would try to be like, oh, that's crazy. You're crazy. You know, they think I'm just an average person that doesn't know anything about how things are working in this world. They get paid. They get funded on the back end to protect the crimes of Scientology. So it's very upsetting. When I left the house yesterday, they were waiting. They have access to the cameras here in my apartment, in the hallways, so they know when I'm leaving. So then they have people, Scientology people, they surround your house. They could be parked here on the street, like the Mexican guys were the other day. They park across the street, a couple cars behind my car. And then when I leave, that person leaves, and then the other ones know it's time to follow me, and the chase comes on. The chase starts. So this is every day, 24/7. And when I was on crutches and I would have to take the bus because I lost my car because they jumped on my car and my car got towed away, they would blow on me. They would stand on me. You know, they would try to put their feet under my crutches. I mean, you guys, I've been through so much hell. So when I went to town yesterday, I was in one part of town. I'll just give you some cross streets. I was like at Vermont and Wilshire. Well, then I decided to go to Wilton and Wilshire to buy some food. And one person followed me. They drive these people. They follow you. They have like tons of people hunting you down like meat, like an animal. They're hunting you, and they all take turns trying to like park in front of you or drive in front of you, or you know, when you're going to go in a store, they'll go in and stand in line in front of you, or they'll start calling you names. They try to find a way to always harass you. Most of the time I just ignore them. But when this guy was at Vermont and Wilshire, and I walked into a restaurant at Wilton and Western, and he just walks in, and I'm like, oh, you were just at Vermont and Wilshire, weren't you? He's like, well, what if I was? I'm like, stay right here. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my phone. He took off running out of the restaurant. The security guard was a witness. The woman at the front register was a witness of him running out. And I think the person that drove him didn't know where he was, because she came in and she heard what we were talking about. And she's like, what? And I told her. And then she's like, oh, and she left. She got kind of scared and took off. And after that, I was followed again. I would go into one store. Certain people pull over. They wait for you to come out. And when you come out and drive, they pull off the street and start following you again. Cops don't do shit. These people are waiting to kidnap you. I've been almost kidnapped, and when I'm almost kidnapped and I'm trying to wave down the cops just pass you right by, just like Detective Bransetter does on the phone when she doesn't want to talk about the evidence, when she doesn't want to investigate, after there's been case after case after case with these monsters not leaving me alone. So, I guess I'm going to have to just make a separate video, because I wanted to, this original video was supposed to be about Justice Roberts not wanting to take the case on voter fraud, because he's making an excuse that there's going to be liberal riots, and these are riots from the left. The left paid domestic terrorists to killed police officers and burned down our cities and hurt people. So I'll just make a separate video. But I want to just say, guys, if I get a job, I end up getting fired, they end up going to my job. I've seen them at my job, but when I got put on crutches, they threatened to break my neck, so I changed my route. They caught me. They tried to grab my phone because I had been taking pictures of them when they're following me, and they keep telling me I'm not supposed to do that. The guy who threatened to break my neck the following week, when I changed direction and he was right there, he ended up being right there. He knew where I was, and he came to grab my phone. He hit my hand as he did it. This guy was like 6'5", 4, and I'm a short person. I'm like 5'3". I completely started screaming murder because they already jumped on my car. I'm not supposed to get in trouble. I'm on probation because what they did to me. So they seek me out, whether I'm driving, whether I'm walking out of my house, whether I'm trying to walk into a restaurant, whether I'm at the grocery store. They have their members. My car's GPS. I'm being hunted like an animal, which is why they keep assaulting me, and they keep, when they try to break in and stuff, waiting for me outside, and the cops allow it to go on. Detective Bransetter, Sergeant Skyver, it's like, when they hear the story there, they want to help, but then when they find out it's Scientology doing this and it's fair game, they completely pretend they never talked to you and they don't know you and they can't help you. And this is the same shit, because the communism that's infiltrated Scientology has become one with Scientology, like Hollywood, like our Democrats, like these people who are into technology business, and they get schmoozed by the Chinese when things don't go 100% their way here, and they always have money problems, like Elon Musk. These traders go do business with China, and they are forced to have to be spies for China because they have to submit certain information, which is it's some type of technical, intellectual property or something, that whatever it is that they want to know. Now you have to become a spy for them. Scientology is the same way, and just like Antifa, and just like the liberal left, the Democrats, the members of Scientology, when they're doing fair game on you, it's policy. It's okay for them to hit you, to try to run you off the road, and the cops are in on it. They're all part of the corruption. The cops' job is to turn their face, turn their back, sweep it on the rug if there's evidence, alter it, redo it, take out certain scenes, which is what they did to me in Burger King, or deny there's evidence. So when I get evidence, they're like, oh, give me the evidence. So I send them evidence, and then I get assaulted again, and they're like, oh, we'll go get the evidence, and they don't get the evidence. Oh, there's no case, there's no investigation. So my next video is going to be on Justice Roberts. And how he's not doing his job because he has to meet to the standards of the liberal left, the terrorism. And instead of saying I'm scared, he tries to say he's scared for the people. If you were scared for the people, your ass wouldn't be a liberal. The liberals are the ones supporting this violence, domestic terrorism. And Scientology does the same thing. So, guys, I'm going to end this video, this rant. I don't want to say too much of what I'm trying to do because my phone call, it's just, I can't say too much, but I'm trying to get some legal, I want them to stay away from me. I want to be left alone. I've moved so many times. I've even moved out of state. They won't leave me alone. So I'll see you on the next video, guys.